Hello and welcome to Stretch, Strengthen and Balance, Chair Yoga for Healthy Aging. I'm your host, Deb Wandler, and we are in the studio, Roger's studio in Castlegar, and I have with me two friends, Marcia and Dee. And today I wanted to talk a little bit before we start on the prompt that we're going to be using today. So if you have read ahead before you started it, you may actually have the ball with you. If not, this is the kind of ball that we're looking for. This one is a tennis ball. I've got something called a pinky ball as well. It's a little bit firmer. And then I have just a little bit bigger ball. It's just a firmer plastic kind of ball. If you're looking for balls to buy, to use at home, you can find them usually at the dollar store or at a dollar store, wherever that might be in your community. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using later. Right now, we're just going to begin in our regular practice. So this morning, we begin in seated mountain. And in seated mountain, we use our feet as part of our foundation to sit up nice and long and tall. And so the whole idea is to work towards removing those curves or replacing those curves in our back that kind of get flattened out as we age. That curve in the lower back and that curve in the cervical spine. So we want to stack our ears over our shoulders and our shoulders over our hips. The shoulders just relax down. We're not drawing them back, but we're bringing them slightly back and relaxing them down. Wonderful. The hands can rest on the legs. The next part of this is imagining that string on the crown of the head and it's drawing you upward to lengthen out the spine a little bit more. Now, if you're comfortable here, you can close your eyes or you can cast your gaze down towards the floor. And we're going to start with just noticing how it feels to sit in this upright posture. This is something that supports us to move away or move into another experience of our bodies that's different from slouching or coming forward throughout our day, which we do many times throughout the day. So just noticing, how does that feel in your body to be nice and long and tall? And then from here, we're going to bring our attention to our breath. So just noticing your breath as you breathe in and out. Notice if your breathing is kind of just coming down to your chest level and not feeling like it's going any further. And if so, which is quite normal actually in our day-to-day stuff, is that we don't think consciously about our breathing, and so sometimes it can feel like it's getting stuck. So when we focus our attention on a conscious breathing practice, we can move the breath in a different way. So just breathing in and out. And where we're breathing in and out is through our nose right now. If you have a challenge breathing in and out through your nose, you can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Or you can also just breathe in through your mouth and out through your mouth. But we get filters. When we're breathing in and out through our nose, we have that filter of through our nose, the air coming through our nose, and that's better for us. So focusing on the breath as it comes in and out through the nose. And you might notice the air is cooler as you breathe in and warmer as you breathe out. And the other thing you might notice as we continue to just focus on the breath as we breathe in and out is that the breath of breathing starts to slow down. And it's the slowing down of the breath that moves us into a relaxation response. So it moves us out of our sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. It brings us into a place of calm Okay, wonderful. The next thing that we're going to do with this is something called a structured breath. So we're going to move into imagining that we're breathing into our ribs in a 360-degree way. So we're going to take, when we inhale, we're going to take our breath into our side ribs, into the front of the chest and the ribs, and into the back ribs. What's helpful, what can be helpful, is bringing your hands up to your ribs to help you feel that. If you already have a sense of what that feels like in your body, you don't have to. So let's start by inhaling, seeing if we can expand the ribs in those 4 directions, front, back, and side, each side. And then exhale, and we draw the ribs back in. So we're inhaling and we're expanding. And we're exhaling and drawing the ribs back in. So there's the other thing that's happening when we do this is that we're giving a little bit of a stretch to our intercostal muscles between the ribs, which help us in the end breathe more deeply. So we're inhaling and expanding. And then we're exhaling and drawing the ribs back in. Let's do 3 more breaths like this. Inhaling, expanding the ribs in all directions. And exhaling and releasing and drawing them back in. 2 more. Inhaling, expanding. And exhaling, the ribs come back in. The other thing that's happening is we're creating space for the diaphragm to drop down. Last one. And as the diaphragm drops down, there's more room for the lungs to fill up. All right. At the end of that last breath, just relax the hands down to your legs if you've had them on your ribs, and just allow your breathing to come back to its natural rhythm. And pause and notice. Like I do regular kind of breathing, but I'm feeling a bit lightheaded from that deep breath. I don't know if either the other 2 in the room with me are or not, but yeah, you can feel that way if you haven't done a lot of deep breathing. So just be aware of that. We're not going to stand up. We're going to stay seated for now. Wonderful. And then if you've had your eyes closed, we're going to open our eyes and we're going to come back into this space. And we're going to do something called orienting. So we're just going to look around. You can look around your space in your room where you're practicing. We're just checking out the shapes and the colors and the light in this room. And that gives us that sense of coming back into feeling grounded, and it also supports us to feel safe in an environment that we're familiar with. So orienting is what it's called. Beautiful. Okay, hands down to the side. We're going to inhale, and as we inhale, this is like a moving mountain now. We're going to bring our hands up and reach for the sky. We're going to bring those hands together, and then we're going to exhale, and we're going to bring the hands down the center of the body. As we bring the hands down, the chin comes down as well. And then we're going to, one more time, well, a few more times, we're going to reach up again. The hands come together at the center, and then we're going to bring them back down, bowing the head as we come down. Let's do 3 more. Inhaling up, reaching, bringing the hands together, down the center, bowing the head, tucking the chin. Nice. 2 more. Inhaling up and reaching. Hands coming together, exhaling down the center. Beautiful. All the way down. Last one. Inhaling up, reaching. You can look up. The hands come together, and then we bow the head as the hands come down. Let's pause with our hands at our heart. I'm just going to pull my shirt back down, put my clothes back into place. And let's take a moment here to close our eyes, go inside again, notice the sensations. So we've done some arm and shoulder movement. We've continued on with our breathing practice, taking nice inhalations and exhalations. Beautiful. Okay, opening your eyes and coming back. We're gonna start with something. I'm gonna bring my book up here so I can read what I've got written here. We're going to start with our arms in cactus arms. So the elbows are up. The elbows are up and the arms are back slightly. And then I'm going to take, actually, let's scoot forward on our chairs a bit. I'm going to take my legs a bit wider. And then I'm going to take a breath in, and as I exhale, I'm going to bring my legs and my arms together. And then I'm going to inhale out and exhale back in. Inhale out and exhale in. So what we're doing here is we're opening up the chest. Inhaling out, exhaling back in. Let's do 2 more. Inhaling out and exhaling back in. Last one, inhaling out, exhaling back in. Beautiful. Let's release the arms down, give them a shake. So once again, we're going to pause, close our eyes for a moment, and we're going to go inside. This is like increasing our interoceptive awareness. So we can get a sense of, how does that feel in my body? How did that particular practice feel? What do I notice in my body? Okay. Wonderful. And we're going to do that after most of the poses and practices that we do today. Okay, so we can scoop forward still, and we're going to do something called windshield wiper legs. And so we're just going to start by bending, like right now I'm bending my left knee in, and then I'm coming back up and I'm bending my right knee in. And that leg comes up and out a bit, and I bend the other knee in. Okay, so this is windshield wiper leg. So what we're doing here is getting into our hips a bit. And we're rolling. We're starting on the flat of the foot, and we're rolling to the inside of one foot and then to the outside as we go back in the other direction. Okay, let's do a few more here. Two more on each side. And last one. Okay, now come back to center. Now we can scoot back a bit, because the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to raise one of our legs up. We're going to point and flex. Woo, I can feel that all the way up the back of my leg. I don't know about you ladies, but it gives a bit of a stretch in the back of the leg, the calf and the hamstring. So just flexing and pointing, flexing and pointing. Okay, a couple more. And maybe just resting that leg for a moment. We're going to do some circles with the foot around the ankle as well. So up again, and we're going to do circles first in one direction to get into the ankles. No cracks this morning, that's good. And then we're going to do them in the other direction. My head wants to go with it, and that's okay. All right. Oh yeah, I can feel that in the leg. And then we're just going to let that leg come down, the foot on the floor again. Pause for a moment, close your eyes, and notice the sensations in that leg. Notice the difference in how that leg we just worked feels from the leg we haven't worked yet. Wonderful. All right, let's bring the other leg up. This is my tighter leg, and you might notice that as you move from one leg. Oh, first we're going to start pointing and flexing. Sorry, point and flex, point and flex. So if your leg doesn't come up really high, that's okay too. I'm just trying to get a bit of a stretch in the back of the leg by doing this. Just flexing and pointing. Our feet are really important in our balance as we age. Our ankles, and strengthen our ankles. Okay, so let's stop and then do circles in one direction. And when we rotate our joints, like we're going to do in a couple of times today, and a couple of different joints, we are bringing more blood flow into the area, and we're also increasing synovial fluid, which supports the body, supports the joints and the bones, especially if they're achy. Okay, let's go in the other direction. So what we're working towards here is keeping our body moving and keeping things working in a way that support us to move about in the world in the way that we would like to continue to as we age, for sure. Let's do a couple more. All right, and then we're going to rest that leg down. Whew. Okay, close your eyes. Pause, take a breath in and out. Okay, notice how that feels now that the other leg has had that bit of a workout. And once again, notice if there's a difference from one leg to the other. All right. Okay, now we're going to do a knee lift. And so we're going to bring the knee up towards our chest. And then we're going to bring it back down to the floor. And bring it up. And back down. We're going to do 3 more on this side. Up and back down and up and back down and up and back down. Okay, let's rest that foot for a moment, that leg. Just notice, so now we're moving into the knee joint, getting some activity in there. And then we'll do the other side. And back down and up. Oh, I can feel that in my hip. I guess we're also getting into our hip in this exercise. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Beautiful. Okay, now, here we pause again. Close our eyes and just check into that. Where did you feel it? Like I'm actually feeling it more in my hip, especially my right hip, than I did in my knees. So we're bringing movement into the knees and the hip joint. Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to do some knee circles. So these knee circles, scooting forward a little bit, they actually do get into the hip. So we're going to just start by bringing the knee up and around so that we're circling that hip, that leg joint in the hip socket here. Getting some movement into the sideways movement and back and forth movement into the hip. And they don't have to be as big as I'm doing. Do them as big as feels comfortable for you. Then we're going to pause and go in the other direction. Nice. Do a few more here if you can. If at any time it feels like enough for you, then just stop. Don't continue to do it. Okay, and then we're going to rest that foot down. Woo, and really pause for a moment. Check into that hip. Feeling it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. All right, other side. So we're going to circle that knee so that we get into the hip. Going in one direction first. The hips hold a lot of tension in the body and a lot of emotional tension, especially for women. There's so much going on down in the hip area for women. And it's nice to get into the hips a bit and work out some of that tension and some of that emotional stuff that we might be holding. Let's go in the other direction. I forgot to get your watch today, Dee. Hang on, we'll get it when we pause. Your watch has come in handy, thank you. All right, now just put that foot down, relax, close your eyes. Take a moment to notice the sensations in the legs and the hips. Particularly, I'd say in the hips. See if I can get this on. There we go. Thanks, Dee. All right. So now we're going to do some circles around our pelvis, and we're going to call this cleaning the inside of the peanut butter jar. And so we're going to lead with our chest. We're going to see if we can scrape out the inside of and then our upper back, of course, comes around, and maybe the shoulder, and then the chest and the shoulder and the upper back. So as big and as small movements as feels comfortable for you. Cleaning that peanut butter jar, it could be a really skinny little jar. It could be a big, wide jar. And you can feel yourself, feel the movement as well in the pelvis. We're circling on our sit bones. We're coming to the front and the back of the pelvis. Just notice where you're feeling this. I guess we should turn and go in the other direction. If we haven't already, I don't remember. Let's turn and go in the other direction. Better do a few more to make it a bit more balanced. We went in the other direction for a long time. All right, let's do 2 more circles here. Okay, last one. And then pausing in the center, taking a nice deep breath in and out, closing your eyes. And just notice the sensations. So what I'm beginning to feel as I do this practice is certainly my body's warming up because we're doing more and more movement. But I'm also feeling like there's energy movement in my body. Like I feel a little bit bigger around my hips and my legs. And that's just the movement of energy in and around us. I know that sounds weird, but if you think about it, we are surrounded by energy. There's not just space. There's lots of things going on. Okay, beautiful. All right, what's our next one? Shoulder circles. So we're going to start with our hands on our shoulders. And we're going to start with one elbow circling at a time. So we're going to take one elbow up and around, and then we're going to take the other elbow up and around. And the reason I'm going back is because we want to encourage that movement of bringing our shoulders back and our chest opening up to counter that seated forward kind of slouching. Okay, all right, now we're going to take both elbows at the same time. Now you can do little tiny circles with your elbows, or you can do big circles with your elbows. So see what feels right for you. See what you notice in your body. Which one feels the best in your shoulders, or where you feel the difference from the two in your shoulders and in the muscles of your arms. Okay, beautiful. All right, let's relax those arms down. Give them a shake. Okay. All right, let's do do a little bit of work on our hands and wrists. So we're just going to start with the left hand, and we're going to press that left hand away from us. And then we're going to take the other hand, and we're going to draw the fingers back. So we're getting a nice stretch down the hand and the back of the wrist. And we're going to take 3 breaths here. Okay, and then we're going to bring the hand down, and we're going to put our thumb behind the hand just below the wrist, and we're going to draw the hand back. So we're going to stretch the front of the wrist now. And we're going to take 3 breaths here. Wonderful. And then we're going to do one more movement here. We're going to bring the hand around, palm up. We're going to reach underneath the hand, and we're going to see if we can grab, not grab too hard, but hang on to that thumb a little bit, and then just gently pull the thumb forward. So you get a little bit of stretch in that base of the thumb. I guess it's down and forward. There we go. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Wonderful. Okay, let's shake that hand out. And then just allow the hand to rest on the leg and notice the difference from one hand to the other. Feels much more open. Okay. All right, same thing with the other side. So we press the hand forward, we take the other hand and we draw the fingers back. So we're getting that nice stretch in the bottom of the wrist. Let's take 3 breaths here. Okay, and then we're going to drop the fingers down, support the hand with the thumb in the back, and we're going to draw the hand back a bit. So we're getting that stretch in the top, and we're going to take 3 breaths here. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to release. We're going to turn that palm up. We're going to reach over. This is the thumb that's really cranky on my hand. We're going to reach and see if we can draw that thumb down and forward a bit. Really getting that stretch where the base of the thumb connects to the wrist. Okay, one more breath here. And then release it, shake it out. Oh boy. And then just allow both hands now on your legs. Take a breath in and out and just noticing the sensations. Wonderful. Okay, we're going to do some arm reaches. And okay, we're going to just start with reaching one hand up nice and long and down, and the other hand up nice and long and back down. Let's do that one more time like that on each side. And then moving into our brain optimizing patterns, we're going to do one hand up and one hand out. And then back down. So one arm goes up and one arm goes out. Other side, back down, and again, and down. And last time on this side, and down. Okay, pause and notice the sensations. We're going to do a reach. Okay, we're going to do one hand up and one hand down. Okay, so let's do one more time. Let's bring I've got my right arm up. It doesn't matter which one you've got up. Let's reach up with one arm and down with the other. And then back to center. And one arm up and one arm down. And back to center, down, and back to center. Let's do one more time on each side. Down, and last one. And down, wonderful. Okay, now we're going to bring one arm across, reaching as if you're trying to reach that nice, like that best apple on the tree right in front of you here. And then bring it down. And then the other one comes up and across. We're going to reach it and come back down. One more time on this side, reaching, grabbing, bringing it back down. And one more time on this side. Reaching and grabbing that apple, bringing it back down. Okay, now, before we finish, let's just do once more. Let's just reach both arms up. And back down. I don't know if we did both arms up. Let's do it again. Feels good. Feels different. Okay, last one. One more time. Nice. Okay, beautiful. All right, let's shake it out. Shake the arms out. Bring the hands out down to the legs. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a breath in and out and just notice the sensations in the arms and the shoulders. Okay, lovely. Okay, we're going to come up to standing. And so in order to do that, we're going to bring our feet about hip width apart. Now you can use your chair to help you get up. You can use your hands on your legs. You can bring your hands up to here. You can bring your hands out in front of you. It gives you better balance, prevents you from going too far forward. And this is can be very supportive as well. So we might need to get a little bit of momentum here. So we rock a bit, we press down into our feet and come up. Nice work, both of you. Excellent. Okay, let's shake it out. I'm going to bring my chair back so I can stand right here. And you have your yoga mat you can stand on now instead of the cold cement floor. Wonderful. If you want to, you don't have to. Okay, so now we're going to go into our standing mountain. So we're doing the same thing as we did when we were sitting. We're going to start with stacking our ears over our shoulders. My knees are relaxed in this pose. They're not locked. So my ears are over my shoulders are over my hips, and now my hips are over my ankles. I would encourage you to feel those 3 points of contact, the point of the big toe, the base of the big toe, the outside edge of the little toe, and the center of the heel. And see if you can press those 3 points down into the floor. Beautiful. Relax your toes. See if you can lift your toes up a bit and then relax them down. We don't want to grip with our toes. And once again, there's that string on the crown of the head, and it's drawing you up nice and long and tall. The shoulders are relaxed and down. Close your eyes here and take a few breaths, noticing the sensations. So what we're working towards in this mountain pose is that sense of feeling grounded and that sense of feeling tall and bigger, right? We're tall like the mountains. We might be a peak, we might be a broader mountain, but we want to move into that space that we fill with our bodies. Really making ourselves as big as we can. Let's take 3 breaths here. Checking in like I just did. I just noticed my toes were gripping, so I just loosened them up a bit and relaxed them. Checking into my knees, making sure I'm not locking them. My shoulders are relaxed and back. And that crown of the head is reaching up nice and long and tall. Okay, beautiful. Nice work. Let's come back into the room, into the space. Okay, feet a little bit wider than hip width. And we're going to do some hip circles here. So we're just going to move into the hips. And again, you can do big circles or you can do smaller circles here. Just notice what your hips are feeling like, and what your knees. I have to be mindful of my one knee, and this seems pretty good if I don't bend that knee in a bad way. Okay, and then let's pause and go back in the other direction. Nice. Okay. Alrighty. Now let's pause in the center and just take a moment to notice the hips. You can release your arms down. Notice the sensations in the legs and the hips. Bring your feet together. Nice. Okay, so we're going to work with our ball. And we're just going to... The nice thing about working with the ball is it supports us. It supports our feet to open up. We have that fascia, the connective tissue at the bottom of the feet, that can get tight for several reasons. Just from lack of movement in the feet and using the feet in this way. It can get tight from dehydration. As we get older, we tend to dry out a bit. We've got to remember to drink more water. So what we want to do is we want to see if we can get some movement into the fascia so that all those energy points or points at the bottom of our feet and nerves at the bottom of our feet aren't squeezed and causing the feet to tighten. So we start by just rolling the ball back and forth from front to back. And you can roll that ball in the arch of the foot. Noticing any tender or tight spots, you can roll it in the middle of the foot. And then you can also see if you can get that outer edge, well, the bottom outer edge of the foot as well. Wonderful. And then we're going to bring the foot down, the heel down to the floor, and we're going to see if we can, the ball is going to go into the arch at the top of the foot, and we're just going to press down. It doesn't have to be a really deep press, but what you want to be able to do if you're barefoot is see the base of the toes, the bones at the base of the toes articulating, so they're popping out. So we're giving a nice stretch in between those bones at the bottom of the feet. And let's take 3 breaths here. Last one. Beautiful. And then release and just once again just roll the ball on the bottom of your foot. Nice. Okay. And you might even feel, if you had felt some tender spots before, you might feel a little bit less because you've stretched the foot a bit and the foot has a little bit more give in it. So we're going to do one more where we're going to bring the ball down to the back of the foot right in front of the heel like this. And then we're going to step up onto the ball. Oop, these are a little bit squishy. The tennis balls are a bit more squishy, but we're going to step up and onto the ball. And we're going to open up, the idea of this is to open up the back of the foot a bit, where all the bones come together and they're starting to spread out from the heel. So we're giving a nice stretch into the back of the foot. Let's take 3 more breaths. All right, and then release. And let's just do a couple more rock and rolls under there. Oh yeah, that feels good. All right, then we're just going to let our ball sit for a moment. Bring that foot down to the floor. If you're in bare feet, you will notice a difference from one foot to the other in terms of the color of the skin, the blood flow moving more into the whole foot. Really good for the foot. Okay. All right, let's bring the ball to the other side. And I'm happy to see both Marcia and Dee holding onto their chairs as they're doing this. And that is perfectly acceptable and good for those of you that are feeling your balance is a bit off. So again, you can roll along the arch, inside arch of the foot. You can roll the ball down the center. And you can see if you can get into that outside edge of the foot. Okay. Back and forth. See if there's any tender spots, and if you find any tender spots, just spend a little bit of time there. Some of you might be familiar with reflexology, and if you look reflexology up, you can see a map of the foot where the different organs are represented in different parts of the foot. Might be interested in that, or already have done it. Okay, now let's bring that foot to the arch at the top of the ball. Again, the ball to the arch of the arch at the top of the foot. Let me see if I can say that. We're going to press down a bit so we can articulate those bones in our foot. Actually, we could roll the ball a bit from side to side, even just to give a little bit more opening. Let's pause and hold that for 3 breaths. Really good for feet, for our that tendency towards bunions, where that bone starts to stick out. The bone on this side is really, as much as I've taken care of it, and I have been taking care of my feet because of that bunion forming, it isn't as bad as it might be, but it's still there, so it affects. So we want to stretch that out a bit. Okay, now let's release it. Whew, and let's roll it back and forth. Oh yeah, that feels good. Okay, and then last one, we're going to step up and just with the ball just in front of the heel, we're going to step up and onto that ball, and we're going to do a bit of a stretch in the back of the foot where the bones come together from the heel, after the heel. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Nice. Okay, then we're going to step off and just roll that ball back and forth for a bit. Okay. All right, and then we're just going to put the ball to the side. We're going to stand with both feet on the floor. Let's just close our eyes for a moment. Take a breath in and out and just check in to how your feet are feeling. A little bit wider, perhaps. A little bit more relaxed. There's lots of stretching that we did for the feet. And then opening your eyes, let's just do a little walkabout and just see how that feels with your feet nice and wide. Wonderful. Okay, one more thing we're going to do with the feet before we do our other, I think we've got a few more standing things to do here. Holding onto the chair, we're going to stretch the top of our foot now. So just bringing the toes, bringing the foot back, and just resting on the top of the foot and pressing down slightly. It can be really painful if you haven't done this before, so be gentle. And let's take 3 breaths here. Okay, and then release that foot, give it a shake. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other foot. Bring that other foot back and just press down, just being very gentle to give a nice stretch to the top of the foot now. 3 breaths. Okay, and then release that foot. Let's give both feet a bit of a shake. Nice. Okay, so standing beside your chair now, we're going to do some leg swings. So these are, make sure that there's nothing behind you that you're going to kick if you go back. And we're just going to start by just swinging the leg back and forth. Now, what you want to do is just make sure you're just swinging the leg and your hip isn't going back. You don't want your hip to go back with it. You want just the leg to swing back and forth. So once again, we're getting into that hip. And you can go slow with the movement, or you can move a bit faster. Whatever feels right for you. You can do little tiny swings, or you can do bigger swings if that feels good in your body. Still maintaining the hip, pressing forward rather than going back with you. Make sure you're breathing. Don't stop breathing. Breathe in and out to those swings. Let's do a couple more. And then slowly let that leg and foot come to stillness. Foot comes back down to the floor. Oh, pause for a moment. Take a breath in and out, closing your eyes and just noticing the sensations. Holy. It's really good for the hip. Now, if you're at home and you have a block, one of those foam blocks like I've got in here, to stand on, or other kind of yoga block, a little bit higher, and you do the leg swings with one foot on the block, you can feel like it's really lengthening the leg out. So you can bring some length into your leg as well. Okay, so let's do the other side. I'm going to stay on this side of the chair, and I'm just going to swing, make sure I don't kick the chair. And swing back and forth. We have mats in here today for the chairs so they don't slip, as well as to stand on if folks need to do that. So you want to make sure your chair is situated in a place that it's not going to slip when you're doing movements like that, like mine is for some reason. I'm pulling it around. Pulling it around. Okay. Let's do a few more. All right, and then very slowly let that leg come to stillness and the foot come back down to the floor. Stand with both feet on the floor, close your eyes and just notice the sensations. And it will feel different from one side to the other, because we tend to have, like my left hip is a lot tighter than my right hip. So I feel the movement more, I feel it more in my left hip because it feels like my left hip needs it more. Just notice that. All right, wonderful. Okay, continuing to stand by your chair if you need to. We're going to do something called crane, and this is a balancing posture. So we're going to start by bringing just one knee. We're going to shift our weight onto one foot. And we've got that nice wide foot now because we've worked that foot open. So we're going to press down into the 3 spots at the bottom of the foot. The base of the toe, the base of the little toe, and the heel, the center of the heel. And then we're going to just slowly bring our knee up and one arm up for those of you that are holding on to the chair. This is crane. Whoa, crane is wobbly this morning for me. Let's take a couple breaths here. Whoa. And then that's actually good for the ankle muscles to do a little bit of swaying, and then bring the foot back down. Okay, let's shake out that standing leg a bit. And then we're going to shift to the other foot. And we're going to press down into those 3 points, the base of the toe, little toe, and center of the heel. And then we're going to bring that knee up as the arms come up. And we're going to breathe. Let's do 2 more breaths here. And then release the foot down. Holy, okay. I have to do that a bit more. My balance is a bit off. So the nice thing about balance poses, of course, it's a physical pose, so we're shifting our weight from one leg to the other. We're working those muscles, those little tiny muscles in the ankle and in the feet as we stand on it, trying to hold ourselves. And we're working towards increasing balance in our bodies. And we're also, and this is what yoga can do at times, is we're also working on balance in our life. So if we feel like things are out of control and we've got too much going on, doing balancing postures can support you to move into balance in your life as well. Okay, so now this one is going to might be tricky for those of you that need the chair, but you can still do it. So we're going to do what's called a cross crawl. We're going to bring the opposite knee to the opposite hand to hand. So right hand to left knee and then down, left hand to right knee and then down. So the knee comes up. Nice. So this cross crawl movement, certainly we're building strength in our legs and we're working on balance a bit, but we're also working on brain function. So we're working on bringing both sides, both the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of the brain, into working together. I used to do this in my classes when I taught at the college for my students. If they all looked like they were going to fall asleep on me, we'd get up and do cross crawl. And they were all adults. Okay, a couple more. Now, for those of you that are struggling with standing and doing it standing, you can get the same benefit out of it seated. Sorry, I didn't think about that until now. Same thing, right? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So if this feels better for you, do it seated. All right. Okay, let's pause now. rest for a moment. Take a couple breaths in and out, closing your eyes, and just notice the sensations. We'll stay seated because we're going to move into the last part of our practice. I'm going to move my chair forward a bit though. Okay. All right. Now we're back to seated mountain. So just pause and notice, align yourself into seated mountain for a moment. Those ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Your feet pressing down into the floor a bit. Chin level to the ground and that string drawing you up nice and long and tall. Take a breath in and out here and just notice how your body might feel different, and in what way does it feel different than when you first sat down to do mountain today? Beautiful. Okay. All right, we're going to do one more breathing practice, and this is a breathing practice that supports the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is a cranial nerve that runs from the back of the head down through this area of the ears and neck and down the front of the body and goes all the way down. There's lots of, right into where the belly is, and there's lots of nerve going into the abdominal or the gut area as well. So what we're going to do, it's kind of silly, but it's called the puff breath. And so we're just going to take a breath in. Actually, it's hard to do it that way. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to puff out one side of the one cheek. Hold it for a moment, and then breathe out and release the cheek. Okay, did that feel okay? Were you able to do that? Take a breath in, puff out the other side. Hold it. And then slowly release the cheek. So it's stretching. What that puffing out of the cheeks is doing is stretching and creating some movement in the vagus nerves that run through here. So let's do a few more times on each side. Puffing out the cheek. And then slowly releasing. Puffing out the other cheek. And slowly releasing. I think it works better to puff the cheek out. Let's go back to the other side and then inhale. And then slowly release. Okay, one more time on the other side. And then release the cheek. And then just sit for a moment and notice the sensations. Notice how it feels, that stretch on the side of the face and the jaw area. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to move into our final bit of our practice today. And I'm going to do our body scan. We're going to go into Shavasana. And so Shavasana is that final resting posture at the end of the day. And so what I like to do to support you to move into a state of relaxation is just to pause and notice, to go through the body in a scanning kind of way, to pause at each place that I name, each part of the body that I name. And even think about this time bringing compassion to that area. So each time we pause and notice and we give it our attention, we're showing that part of our body compassion. And then as we do that, it takes us away from our thinking mind and supports us to relax. And then once I'm done the body scan, we will sit for about 2 minutes in silence, and then we'll come back into the room and end our class. Okay, so just settling back into your chair now. You don't have to do anything. We don't have to press our feet into the floor. We just want the chair to hold us up. This is where the body has time to integrate all the postures and all the movements and everything that we've done today. And allows us to integrate that into the body to really get the benefits of the practice. And so I'm going to start down at the right foot, taking a moment to notice the right foot, the base of the foot, the top of the foot, and all 5 toes. And coming across to the left foot, noticing the base of the left foot, the bottom of the foot, the top of the foot, and all 5 toes of the left foot. And coming back across the body to the right ankle, the right shin and calf, and the right knee. And then we'll cross over again to the left and we'll notice the left ankle, the left calf and shin, and the knee. Crossing back over to the right upper leg, the quad muscle in the front and the hamstring in the back. And that leg all the way up to the right hip, and including the right hip. And then back over to the left side, the quad muscle in the front of the upper leg, the hamstring in the back, and that leg all the way up to and including the left hip. And noticing the sit bones as you're sitting, the back of the pelvis. The sit bones are in the back of the pelvis. And notice the pubic bone in the front of the pelvis. And the pelvic bowl. Noticing the lower back all the way to the waist. And noticing the belly area, the abdominal area in the front of the body, the chest and upper ribs, all the way up to the collarbones. And then going back to the back of the body from the waist all the way up, including the shoulder blades, to the top of the shoulder blades. Noticing the whole left side of the body, from the hip up to the armpit, and the whole right side of the body, from the hip all the way up to the armpit. Noticing the right shoulder, the right arm, the right hand, all 5 fingers, and coming up and across to the left shoulder, the left arm, the left hand, and all 5 fingers. Noticing the throat and the neck and the back. Noticing the jaw, the right side of the jaw and the left side. Noticing your mouth, your nose, the right ear and the left ear, and the right eye and the left eye. And that third eye spot, that spot that's right between the eyebrows. Noticing the back of the head and noticing the crown of the head. Noticing the whole body from the crown of the head all the way down to the toes and the feet, the whole body. very slowly and gently, bring your attention back to your body, back to your breath. You can begin to awaken the body by wiggling the fingers and the toes. And then moving in whatever way would feel good for you. Might be a nice little bit of a stretch. And then as you're ready, bringing your hands up to your heart. And just taking a moment to pause here. Just notice how you're feeling. Appreciate yourself for coming to this practice today, whether it's viewing it on YouTube or sitting in the class with me. And appreciate that when we come together, whether you're out there in the viewing audience or you're in the room with us, we are coming into a community of practice. And that community of practice supports us, and we support it. And what we do for ourselves moves out to the people around us. And if you like, you can bring your hands together in prayer position. You can take a little bit of a bow to that self that got you here today. And in our class, we go around and we take a bow to each other. And finally, namaste. Thank you for coming. And thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the class, please press the like button.